DC Dual Force fans rejoice as a new season, the Suicide Squad season, is upon us. And with a new season comes 10 new cards, 10 cards that are getting an adjustment, and 1 new leader, maybe an extra card if a comic comes out. But either way, I expect quite a bit of a meta shakeup from this mini set. There is quite a plethora of fun toys to work with and a lot of things that we must science out. So we will go through these cards, give them our 1 to 5 star rating, and talk about where we think each of these is going to fit in some deck archetypes that currently exist, what new deck archetypes might come about because of these cards, and overall see how they're going to impact the meta. First, I think it's important to note that the following 10 cards are going to get the Suicide Squad Tribe tag put on them, and that's going to be Partners in Crime, Killer Frost, the Cheetah, Peacemaker, Parasite, the Silver Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Count Vertigo, Enchantress, and Talon, the one Tyranny card that will be getting that tag. With that in mind, the first card on our list is Amanda Waller, one of the most flavorful cards I think they've put out. Amanda Waller, Suicide Squad member, Bronze 1-2, hidden. After a friendly Suicide Squad recruit is KO'd, create a Suicide Squad recruit in your hand. And this getting your Suicide Squad members to be KO'd is a common theme around this. I think Amanda Waller is going to be a meta-defining card, and this is easily a 5-star card. I think that I think there will be a Suicide Squad deck, Amanda Waller will be in them, and I think she'll also make some appearances in some of the sparse inmate Suicide Squad combo decks that will be out running around. However, I don't think that's going to be a tier 1 deck, as there's only 4 cards that have both tags. However, I just think because of the factions between Anarchy and Tyranny, you're going to see a lot of crossover with inmates and Suicide Squad members, but Amanda Waller is going to be this meta-defining card, I think. I think it's going to really define these top decks with the value that you can generate from her, and the fact that she is a bronze, I don't think you're always going to want to play her on bronze. I think she's going to be a card that maybe you want to look at playing in the silver turns. Once you have some Suicide Squad members on the board, you can trade them in, or if you have ways to get rid of them just to refill your hand. So a lot of flexibility in this card as when you can play it. It's the fact that it has hidden is a huge boost because you will get to use it for 2 turns. So you'll have 2 turns to set up plays, which is really big in this game as you can only use 2 resources. So yeah, Amanda Waller, easily a 5-star card. Up next is Bloodsport, a silver 5/4 Suicide Squad member. After a friendly Suicide Squad recruit is KO'd, deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. That is pretty impressive that we do 2 to each leader. I think that Bloodsport is going to make an appearance in the more aggro focused Suicide Squad decks, which most of them will be. However, I think that this can also teeter into mid-range a little bit, especially if you combine this with other cards such as Amanda Waller, and you have the generation, you get your things out there, even with just a Punch and Jewel out there, that is 2 3/1s to trade with, 4 damage to each leader, and then you generate 2 random Suicide Squad members back with Amanda Waller. And that is easily something you can do on the double bronze to silver bronze turn. So a 3-card combo, but very doable because of Amanda Waller's hidden ability. I think Bloodsport being a 5/4 body, the 4 health is a little concerning, but the fact that you can pull off some wild damage in a hurry, I think is what's going to propel this up, and I see Bloodsport being a 4-star card. I see this card being in almost every Suicide Squad heavy deck, as they're going to want to deal damage to face. They're going to want to have their members on the board and dying, so he just fits right in too well. We saw how Morgan Le Fay really took Zatanna and made her much more popular, and this is almost doing the same thing aside from it's not gaining you health. But when you're playing aggro, you don't really care about your own health. You care about their health getting to 0. So Bloodsport, 4 stars. Next up, King Shark, a gold 7/6 Suicide Squad member. Hunter, King Shark can attack damage recruits when he is exhausted. And this ability is sneaky good, I think. I think that while most people think, oh, they have a damaged minion and I get to play my King Shark and it has speed, it also has other purposes such as swinging this into something like an Enchantress or a Lex Luthor that doesn't have enough health to kill it, and it takes damage, becomes exhausted. Now they have a damaged minion on the board, and you can then swing with it a second time. And if they have another damaged thing, you could potentially board wipe them with a King Shark. So King Shark, I think, has a lot of versatility. I don't think he's going to appear in every Suicide Squad deck. However, he could, because him dying will give the rest of the cards a boost, but I think he's going to have a more general purpose. I think he's just a more general purpose good card, and I'm going to give King Shark 3 stars. I can see that maybe not all decks will run him, because as we'll see, a lot of these decks, it is going to be tight to fit all of these cards in these lists, and some cuts are going to have to be made, and I think King Shark's just going to be one of those generally good cards. I don't think he's going to define any of these Suicide Squad decks like Amanda Waller will, so 3 stars. Rick Flag, a silver tactics card, the only tactics card in the set. Suicide Squad hidden, deploy, give your other Suicide Squad recruits +2 and hidden, and at a 5/5 body, Rick Flag has a lot of potential. Even though he is the only tactics based card, there is one deck in particular that is a very good deck here in the meta that we see a lot, that I think is going to give Rick Flag the perfect home. And because of that, I'm going to give Rick Flag a 4-star rating. And that deck is going to be Raging Panda's Joker Batgirl deck. I think that putting in a Suicide Squad package and cutting a lot of the inmates and then adding in the Rick Flag can really take this deck to another level. The boost that you're going to get from the attack damage is going to be significant. This deck already wants to go face and burn them down with things like Batgirl's ability and Black Manta, so I think adding that extra little boost to get more attack on your minions is going to slot it very nicely in an already established deck. And our first multi-type recruit is going to be the Bronze 3/3 Harley Quinn, having the Inmate and Suicide Squad tag. After another friendly Suicide Squad member is KO'd, Harley Quinn gets 3 attack. And that is not this turn, that is forever. And at a Bronze 3/3 body, it is already competitive with a lot of the bronze that you're going to run in your deck. And I think that Harley Quinn's going to see play in those hybrid Suicide Squad inmate decks as well as in the straight Suicide Squad lists. Again, I think they're going to be very aggro focused, so I think Harley Quinn is going to be a perfect addition, and I think we're going to see a lot of Harley Quinn and possibly the silver Harley Quinn ran here and in the coming meta. So I'm going to again give Harley Quinn 4 stars. While she might not be as meta-defining as Amanda Waller, I think we're going to see a lot of Harley Quinn. Killer Croc is up next, a silver 7/4 inmate Suicide Squad. Chaotic. When a friendly Suicide Squad recruit is KO'd on your turn, Killer Croc makes a bonus attack. So, pretty good it seems. However, the 4 health is quite a bit of a liability. Yes, you may be able to clear something, a 2/3, a 3/3, but the second attack, he's definitely going to die by the second attack if he doesn't by the first one. And with Chaotic, you can't really plan where he's going to go. I think Killer Croc is probably the weakest card that they are going to print. I can see this having a lot of experimentation in the beginning, but even with the Batman Who Laughs minion, I don't know if it's going to be enough to push it over the edge I'm actually going to give Killer Croc a 2-star rating. I think it's going to make it in some of the fringe Batman Who Laughs decks, but I don't think that it quite makes the cut for the Suicide Squad and Inmate decks. Even though with the Chaotic you do want it to die, I just don't think it's meaty enough to do what we're going to want it to do. Cranial Explosive, a free, resourceless Tyranny card. Sacrifice a Suicide Squad recruit to give your Suicide Squad recruits everywhere +2 attack. And I have said it before, any card that is free is good and will see play. And this card is going to absolutely be in every single Suicide Squad deck, as the Suicide Squad decks will probably all be Tyranny and Anarchy. While there may be some that just go the Anarchy and something else route, I think that the main Suicide Squad deck is going to be the Tyranny Anarchy deck. I think this is ran in every single deck. It gives you the ability to trigger all the abilities you want if you don't have anything to trade in, if you want to have things on the board and they don't have a lot, and instead of trading you want to give, let's say, Harley Quinn +3 attack and go lethal, you want to trigger your Killer Croc to attack a second time. So I think Cranial Explosion is an excellent card, and I think it is going to be ran in every Suicide Squad deck. You're going to see it right there with Amanda Waller to activate all your things. 5 stars. Welcome to Task Force X, a Anarchy Bronze. Give Suicide Squad recruits in your deck +2 attack, then each recruit in your deck joins the Suicide Squad. So then everyone in your deck will have that tag. This card is hard to gauge. If we look at it in the sense of the other cards that buff all the things in your deck, those see some fringe play. They're not the mainstays. A Better Tomorrow doesn't always see play, while Might is a weaker class. I don't think Task Force X is going to be consistent enough to be ran in a lot of the decks, just because if you draw it early, yes, it's really good. If you draw it late, it is really bad. It is a horrible top deck in the gold turns, and for that reason, 2 stars. Our final recruit that is coming out is going to be Staro. Very exciting to see this card. It is a gold Tyranny 2/10 deploy, summon bronze recruits from the top of your opponent's deck in your empty spaces. That is really good. It is not only a board fill up, it also can do a lot of other things, and it can provide not only a catch-up mechanism, but a win more mechanism. I think this card has a lot of flexibility, especially whenever we are versing a lot of those pesky Batman, Aquaman type decks. You can imagine playing this, getting a free Bluebird, which gets you a gadget, getting a Detective Chimp, which draws you a card. If you're playing Anarchy, you get this, and you get a free Two-Face, which is either destroy a minion or draw a card. And there's just so many really good deploy abilities that people run on their bronze minions that I think Staro is going to be a very good top end for any Tyranny deck. I don't think he's going to be ran in every Tyranny deck, because it is random, you don't know what you're getting, and at a 210 body, he isn't the most attack-friendly minion, but very comparable to Lex Luthor, as Lex Luthor is also a 210 and just draws you a card for the most part, because you will probably be attacking with him every round after that. So you could argue that Staro is better than Lex, but Lex is not ran in every Anarchy deck, and for that reason, I think Staro is only going to be 3 stars. And finally, we end with a new Tyranny leader. We have been teased about General Zod since the beginning of DC Dual Forces history, and the big man is finally here. 4 charges, he gets 7 and invincible like Superman. However, exhaust each enemy in Zod's lane. They can't protect this turn. At 22 health, he's the 3rd thickest leader, and that ability absolutely clears the way. And I think Zod is not only good because he is another Tyranny leader, which gives Tyranny more options, and it also gives Tyranny more options in the aggro department. Now you no longer have to run Poison Ivy and get your 3/3, you can take an active role in hitting your opponent in the face with General Zod. And I think this deck will especially be good in this aggro meta because of decks that you want to take out, like this monstrosity. This Cyborg Shazam, I draw my lightning bolts, I hit you with the flash, will no longer be a problem after you drop your Zod and 21-0 Cyborg and kill him in one turn with your 7 damage and all of your Suicide Squad and inmates on your board that you're going to be running with your Zod. So I think Zod is flexible in that way, but I also think Zod is just a good Tyranny leader in general. Again, he pushes more of that aggro type, and with 7 attack and invincible, he can clear things like Superman does. So I can see a lot of Zod getting ran. I'm not going to give the leader a star rating because leaders tend to be played more. And I think that while there are tier lists on leaders, I'm not going to tier list General Zod. We're going to see a lot of Zod, and we're going to see a lot of all these cards at first because the community is going to try everything out, and eventually we'll whittle down the best options. But I think Zod is going to stick around, also partly just because he is another Tyranny leader, and right now we only have Lex and Ivy. Most people just run Ivy to have that Tyranny leader. While her plants do things and there are combos to set up, Lex is also used and ran, but I feel like he has some more specific purposes where General Zod is going to be that Wonder Woman, anything goes, I can plug this into any Tyranny deck and it still runs pretty well. So I have high hopes for Zod. I really look forward to trying him out. With that being said, I think that we're going to see a plethora of different inmate and Suicide Squad decks. Just taking this basic list from Blade here, it's going to be hard to make cuts. What are we going to cut out if we want some of these hybrid Suicide Squad inmate decks? And like I said, there are only 4 cards that have both tags on them. So I don't know how effective the hybrid decks are going to be. However, the fact that we're playing Anarchy and Tyranny, we're going to see them mixed in quite a bit. But I think that we're actually going to have a meta where we have varying degrees and multiple decks in this Suicide Squad inmate list that are viable, that are totally different. I think there's so many different options you can run with these, and I think that the flexibility of the Tyranny and Anarchy classes is really going to shine through over the next month. Let me know what you think about these cards, and let me know what you think about my star ratings for all these cards. How close am I going to be? What's the meta going to look like? I know I, for one, am very excited for this to release, to get into the deck building phase, to try the new things out, and to see what the community cooks up. I am very ready. I think it's going to shift the meta quite a bit, and again, I think we are heading into an aggro meta. So beware, cover your face, this could get messy.